Yep. Okay, thanks, Shelly. So, welcome, guys. Good morning. This is the FY25 Period G checklist. This checklist is going to be pretty essential to graduation, period reporting, period reporting G period for this year. A lot of times, for some of you veterans in there, you guys are wondering, like, well, we go over this every year. What's the difference? Well, a lot of times what happens is from year to year, they're always tweaking changes, okay? Sometimes here and there. So it's just good to kind of be up to date in terms of, what's going on with the reporting period. So we're going to go ahead and get started here. This is not a very long checklist review, but if you guys have any questions or whatnot, feel free to stop me at any time. One of the changes that I know that you guys have seen has been, and we'll talk about this on task 17, which is basically removal of the withdrawal code 48, which I believe was expulsion. They went ahead and updated what to do in its place there, but we'll go over that eventually later on. So moving forward, here is the table of contents here. It's nothing that you guys have not seen for the newbies out there. This is pretty much just kind of going over what we're going to be covering. Okay. So there's not that many tasks as say the S reporting period where we had it seemed like a final exam to go over. Okay. So want to go ahead and get started here. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask or interrupt me anytime. Okay. So there's a total of 19 tasks here that's covering the reporting period G. Okay. So let's just go ahead and get started here. And like I said, for some of you, you guys have probably already seen this a million times. So like I said, feel free, like I said, if you have any questions, just let me know. Okay. Now keep in mind for everyone in here, the period G is just a graduating reporting period. Okay. Every district is required to report this data. Okay. So for students who graduated anytime during FY25, as well as students who have graduated over the summer prior to the first day of school for the FY26 school year. Okay. So 99% of period G work will take place in FY25. The one exception is students who've graduated during the summer on or after July 1st. Okay. So once the school year ends, and you have moved to the new year, which a lot of you guys are in the process of doing now, if you guys haven't already have done so, okay, data for the FY25 school year will still be accessible. So when you guys are submitting your graduation data, make sure when you guys go into Progress Book to go ahead and go back a year to go ahead and get that information submitted. Now, listen, I know a lot of you guys are saying, Tim, duh, like, we know this already, but you will be surprised. I've had districts down here who basically will freak out and be like, there's nothing being reported. And then I'll say, well, what year you have it on? And be like, well, it's this current year. And I'm like, no, you have to go back a year. So sometimes it can slip your mind, not saying that, it's not impossible, but we've had instances where, we had a couple freakouts. So just kind of letting you know about that there. Keep in mind that the period G reporting affects the local report card. So it's important that everyone gets in their data. Now you guys have all summer to get that in. So unlike the S reporting period where the deadline is July 16th, and of course you still have that appeal window as an option. Basically you have, I believe it's up until September, I believe. As a deadline to get your graduation reporting data in. Okay. So if you guys, like I said before, no need to fret or no need to kind of like, go against the grain, you guys still have time. Okay. So for students who are taking courses this summer, the course history records should still be entered for the 24-25 school year, not 25-26. So if you guys have students who are taking classes, make sure that you put them in the 24-25 school year docket. So just kind of letting you guys be aware of that there.
And just a quick reminder, default school year changes to 25-26 this Friday. So when you guys log in, pay attention. You'll be in the current school year And that's when you'll have to switch back as you're working still in the 24-25. I'm assuming they'll do it overnight, but I'm not 100%. I'll double check in the morning, but I'm thinking they'll do it Thursday night, so when you log in on Friday, it'll be 20.
Thanks, Shelley. Appreciate that. So basically here on the next slide here, they have the EMIS menu, which basically is just kind of pinpointing where the graduating reporting period is located. Okay. So as you can see here, it's highlighted with reporting period G there. Okay. So basically, just a couple reminders. Graduating students must be reported as withdrawn with the appropriate withdrawal reason code. Typically, that is 99 there. Okay. To indicate that they have graduated. Okay. In the future school year initialization must be run before starting period G processes. So in addition, the default counter must be set on student information options. A lot of you guys are aware of this, but just wanted to kind of let you be aware of basically when you're going into progress book, it's just you're just going into the EMIS section there and just pulling up your graduation reporting period. Okay. So it's nothing different than what you guys haven't already seen. Okay. When you go into the graduate reporting period, which is highlighted here, down below, of course, it'll give you the verify updating transfer portal. Okay. So everything is highlighted in terms of the options you have when you go and click on the graduation reporting period. Okay. So first set of tasks to be completed before the school is finished. Okay. Task one, just bulk updating course and manual course history records for your course subject areas, dual credit, and EMIS subject area for credit. Now, a lot of you guys are saying, okay, Tim, like I said, you'll probably have a lot of moments here as we go along this morning, but this is an important step just to kind of get everything situated and finalized for the reporting period. Okay. So what you want to do is just make sure, and a lot of times throughout the course of the school year, this information is pretty much done, but it's good to kind of get, just kind of a refresher or whatnot and just refresh everything if you can. Okay. And like I said before, this kind of eases a little bit of stress or whatnot. If something comes up in terms of you have any errors or anything like that, you can go ahead and, like I said before, be on top of things in terms of updating your information. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there. Okay. So a bulk update process is available to allow you to quickly mass update your course subject area, okay, dual credit checkbox, and EMIS subject area for credit on course records or manual course history records, okay? So basically when you're going into this actual task here, okay, and I'm going to go ahead and skip here to show you the screen here, okay? If you go into your ad hoc updates management, which they give you a nice snapshot here, management ad hoc updates, and then your bulk manual course update. Okay. You can go in and choose the years for which you want to review and update manually under courses. Okay. So keep in mind when you're going ahead and performing this task, okay, make sure that you're in the appropriate year. Sometimes or whatnot, due to the fact that, you may not be in the new um, initialized school year, sometimes it may not show the previous year, right? So a lot of times, once all that information is updated in student information, that year will reflect in the bulk manual course update. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there. In terms of with districts also being able to update course history taken in prior years, you can do that as well. Here in the snapshot here, they have all the previous years. Now, of course, everyone's going to be focused on this current year, right? So you just want to make sure going into this, you see your, 24, 25. If some of you guys have had instances where you guys may have updated some courses in previous years due to the fact that it's not giving you credits or it's not reflecting the credits that they've taken, you can go into previous years and go ahead and get those courses updated as well. Okay. So just wanted to kind of throw that out there for you guys. Task two, flag courses and other course history with dual credit options. Okay. Students who are taking courses that have been approved under College Credit Plus and or your articulation agreement through the College Board of Regents for both high school credit and college credit should have the dual credit value reported as part of their course summary record. Okay. So here below, this is a nice snapshot that they have here. It's kind of small here. Okay. But, and I'm just going to try to enlarge it here. And Shelly, tell me if you guys can see the enlarged part here a little bit.
That is much,
Much bigger. Much bigger for you guys. Just wanted to kind of
yeah,
make sure everyone could see it. Okay,
yeah,
great.
that's,
Great. So, looking in the screen here, as you can see down below in the highlighted section, they have it checked off, the course checked off as dual credit. Okay. So you just want to make sure and verify that that box is checked, okay, in order for that value to be reported in the course summary. If that box is not checked, then you're going to have some issues. So you want to make sure for your courses, especially your CCP courses or whatnot, make sure that you have the appropriate boxes checked when setting up those actual courses, okay? The breadcrumb trail, of course, would be in your course maintenance screen there under courses. That's just a matter of just kind of verifying to make sure that all your courses are set up correctly, okay? So if you have any questions, just let me know. But like I said before, mainly what they're checking for is the dual credit box there, okay? I just wanted to kind of emphasize that or whatnot because sometimes for CCP courses, there can tend to be some issues. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys be aware of what to look for. Okay. So for course is dual credit, that's one of the options available to view on each student's course history summary to see if the student received dual credit for a course. Okay, so when adding manual course history for a student, the dual credit option is available to be checked for that student's record. So courses must be marked dual credit to be included on the college credit management course sections. Okay, so basically, like I said before, it's just a matter of making sure that all your boxes are checked when these courses are set up, and you want to make sure that you emphasize on checking if it's a dual credit course. And if it is, make sure that appropriate box is checked so you guys won't have any issues there in terms of, when you do your submissions. Okay. Task 3, updating student college credit values for dual credit courses. For any student who has earned transcripted college credit for dual credit, update the college credit amount the student earns. Okay, so the college credit amount must be the transcripted college credit amount that will appear on the student's college transcript. The college credit earned will be reported on the GC course summary records. Okay, so down below, and I'm going to enlarge it here. So I'm sorry if it's going to be hard on the eyes here a little bit. But down here, again, when you go into your courses section for your CCP courses, you're going to see college credit hours under marks. So generally what you have is you have 5 tabs when you're doing your courses. You have the general setup, marks, miscellaneous, EMIS, and then your prerequisites, right? Your pre or co-requisites. What we want to emphasize here is when you go to marks, just make sure that the college credits are marked appropriately with 3 hours, okay? Or whatever you guys have it set up for. Because what will happen is when you go to check your ad hoc updates next on this slide here or snapshot here for your college credit management, you'll see those hours reflected here in the course, right? So whenever you guys are setting up those courses, all that will be reflecting on the college credit management section here. Okay. So I want you guys to be aware of that. Everything that you guys set up in courses is going to reflect, right? So in this case, in the college credit management, you'll see those hours reflected here. And I just wanted to emphasize that. So basically, however you guys set up those courses, and I don't know if it's generally you guys or I'm pretty sure like the counselors or academic team sets them up or whoever sets them up, just want to make sure that you confirm that all those credits are basically in place. Okay. Has anybody been having any issues with this so far, this setup so far? Is everybody kind of free and clear right now?
good,
None. Okay.
and everybody seems to be good in here,
Okay, good.
and I don't see anything in the chat.
Okay, great. So just like I said, just keep in mind that the courses must be marked as dual credit. A lot of you guys are aware of that, but I just wanted to emphasize that more and more because you'll be surprised as we get down to the wire, there'll be some courses that aren't set up properly and it kind of can lead to a couple of issues. So I'm just kind of making sure you guys are aware of what's going on with that there. So here, what it's doing is here, it's kind of giving you the steps here in terms of how to basically go about navigating to the college credit management screen, okay, which is just a nice little breadcrumb trail here. And basically what this is kind of letting you guys know in terms of on the EMIS tab, you're just selecting your dual course credits there. And all this here is just basically steps that you can basically use to verify, to make sure that all of these classes have the appropriate setups. Okay. So, frontline or whatnot, just wanted to emphasize here, just to kind of make sure that you guys are aware on how to go about making those changes. If you guys get stumped or whatnot, or have a brain freeze, I can understand with the end of the year, especially in the summer, sometimes, EMIS may not be the first thing on your mind, or you may just be thinking, you know what, let me just kind of get everything situated now, graduation stuff too, or whatever the case may be. This is just giving you the steps on how to navigate through getting all that information set up and just basically viewing your information here. Okay. So this is just making you know how to get access to the college credit management screen, which we discussed here. Okay. So, like I said before, if you guys have any questions on how to access that or whatnot, this is a good reference to use here. Okay. Any questions with that here? Okay. Like I said, this is the same screen. Okay. No different. Okay. So, like I said before, this is kind of giving you the chance to go ahead and bulk assign and save the selected students. Okay. So, for whoever students are taking the course, you can go ahead and bulk assign and save the selected students for this particular course. Okay. And this is the setup here to do that and how to access the college credit management screen here. Okay. So as you can see down below, like I said before, I'm gonna kind of circle this with my cursor. Here's the students' names that would be here and the actual college credit management screen. Student numbers, you can just select them all. Okay. Save it selected there. And then of course you can bulk assign and save selected. You can do it all at once. All right. And then you can just save those classes to make sure that those kids are getting their appropriate college credit earned there. Okay. Down below on the manual enter courses, okay, this is just kind of giving you a blow by blow in terms of how to go about selecting that the dual credit flag set will appear, okay. Just making sure that all your boxes are checked. This is kind of giving you a blow by blow there. A lot of you guys are familiar with it, but if you guys were to get stumped or just kind of get caught out there, these steps are pretty good to kind of have as a review. So I always say a lot of times with Frontline, they're very good about giving you step by step um, sequences in terms of how to access certain information. So this is a good tool to have in your stash there. Like I said before, for you veterans, you're saying, Tim, I know this already, but just for the newbies or people who are still getting acclimated to using Progress Book, these are good tools to use. Okay. Down below here, this is just kind of giving you a more step by steps in terms of if you guys need to adjust anything in terms of the credit tier or whatever the case may be, you can go ahead and make those adjustments there. Make sure when you are making those adjustments that when you're assigning them, that you just go ahead and make that selection and save it. Okay. When you're selecting the students, okay, make sure that all the appropriate students are marked in the columns here. Okay. Now, when you're bulk assigning, okay, and you say to select it, here in the screen, like I said, they're just letting you know that you can make adjustments. Okay, so when you guys are putting in these courses in bulk assigning, it's not the end all be all, right? So you do have opportunities to go back in and edit your selections and edit what you have set up. So I just wanted to kind of let everybody be aware because sometimes I know people will think like, oh my goodness, this is it. What do I do? You do have the option of going back and changing. Okay. So I wanted to let you guys be aware of that there. Okay. Task 4, running course detail report to verify courses are marked appropriately. Okay. Now this is going to be located in the analytics hub. Okay. So this is just a matter of, and here is your breadcrumb trail of selecting your local Section there, student information, local in your analytics hub. A lot of you guys are pretty familiar with how to go about locating an analytics hub in Progress Book. But here, as you can see under scheduling, you'll see your course detail. Okay. So all courses that have earned high school credit, okay, they also basically are they need to be EMIS reportable, number one. Okay. But like I said before, you can access this report here and it kind of gives you a breakdown in terms of, like I said before, how the course is set up, what particulars that you guys have in that course. All that is located here. Okay, so it's kind of like a little cheat sheet in the most part. So if you guys don't feel like navigating all through the page or all through Progress Book, or you don't want to get a headache doing so, here's a shortcut in terms of how to navigate that information. Okay.
Also, just a tip, I kind of like it better than the course detail, because that's like really huge. You can use the CRSE reports. So in your go-to, if you just type in CRSE, but the one box, I believe it's called field criteria or field selection. You can choose up to 10 different things that you want to display. So instead of having a report this big, you only have the columns that you want. So is high school credit is one of those, is dual credit. So you can have those marked and you can see those as well. So again, just a little tip, basically showing you the same thing, but you can kind of condense it a little bit more. And also, don't forget, and I forget who I was working with the other day, but the if you go into your easy query student search, when you go in there, you can pull students and so forth, or grade levels. And then you can pick the criteria that you want to see, such as is high school credit, things like that for certain things. So it's just another report that you can look at, different information for your students, not necessarily for the courses, but for the students. So.
Thanks, Shelley. Appreciate that. So down below here, it's just another snapshot. So when you click into your course detail, of course, you got your filters. So you would go ahead and just navigate to your current year or the previous year or whatnot for this reporting period. Hit OK, and you'll be able to go ahead and get access to those courses and the details there. So just kind of giving you a breakdown of what you'll see once you go ahead and click on your course details there. Okay. Task 5, which is verifying graduating seniors, have been power withdrawn from your district. Now, with this task here, a lot of you guys have basically utilized this tool for your power withdrawn. Okay. So here, they're emphasizing that power withdrawal is a very powerful tool. Make sure that you guys verify the list of students to withdraw before executing the bulk withdrawal. Sometimes we get anxious as EMIS coordinators and we're just saying, look, and I don't want to sit up there and use any language on a recorded Zoom, right? But a lot of you guys are just like, look, I'm just happy we got through the year. Cool beans. I'm ready to get rid of these kids. Let's just go with it. Okay. You want to emphasize and just hold off for a minute and just to let you know that this task is not to be run until near the end of the school year. So as much as we get anxious to say, you know what, out with the old, in with the new, just make sure that you run this task at the end of the school year. Now, of course, with it being the end of this current year, you can kind of get that task running if that you guys feel comfortable in doing that. If you guys have any data that you guys still want to go over and check and make sure that everything is, up to date and you can verify everything, feel free to go about with this power withdrawal. If not, I advise you to hold off until you get everything situated first. Okay? Graduating seniors must be withdrawn before the final S period window closes. Okay, so seniors should be withdrawn using the last day of school on the senior calendar. Okay, and not the last day of school. So I just want to keep that in mind. If you fail to withdraw your graduating students in 24-25, they will show on your missing student report for FY26. So for any student that you guys do not cover, for graduating. Just keep in mind they will reflect in FY26. Okay. The power withdrawal process does not perform a complete withdrawal. Okay. So power withdrawals only enters a withdrawal date and a code. Power withdrawal does not drop course section assignments, apply fee waivers, or change the student status. So if seniors are power withdrawn prior to running their final transcripts, their transcripts will include their withdrawal date. Okay. So they have these here shared as criticals. I believe those are very critical points to basically show. All right. So like I said before, so before everyone, like I said before, goes out for vacation or goes off, into the sunset or whatnot, just make sure before you do your power withdrawal that all your student data is in place first. Okay. Keep in mind that the honor roll report is one of the few reports in student information that honors the homeroom date on the submission screen. So if you're attempting to generate an honor roll for seniors that have already been power withdrawn, make sure you use their withdrawal date as their homeroom date on the honor roll report submission screen. So this down below is just kind of giving you a walkthrough in terms of how to do your power withdrawal. Okay. Like I said before, here is your breadcrumb trail up here, which you go into your management and then go into power withdrawal. A lot of you guys pretty much are familiar with these steps here, but it's kind of giving you a blow by blow in terms of how to access and follow through with the power withdrawals. Okay. Has anybody been having any issues with this here? Or if you guys haven't even touched it yet, I get it, it's still early. So, and that's okay. Like I said before, you still have some time to kind of get this, situated. Is there any questions in the room, Shelley? Is everybody okay?
No, everybody's done with that
Okay,
process.
okay, I was gonna say. Okay. Okay. So just letting you know, this is just a walkthrough here. And like I said, this is just, like I said before, just more steps and stuff to follow. But a lot of you guys have pretty much completed everything. Okay. If your district has grad-only students and a grade level selected for them when registering was 12, they will appear in the power withdrawal dropdown when grade level 12 is selected. So you will need to uncheck the grad-only students. If they are not unchecked, the withdrawal date will update to the date selected on the power withdrawal. So just kind of keep that in mind. And this is just a note for, like I said before, if you have grad-only students, okay? They're just letting you know in terms of the details in which to follow. And like I said, if you guys have any questions, feel free to ask. But it's pretty straightforward, okay? After doing the power withdrawals or during this process here. Task 6, which is adding and updating graduation seals, okay? Excuse me, and your student membership programs. Now, for those of you, you guys are pretty much already sorry about that, guys. You guys have pretty much already completed this task here, okay? But down below, they give you a nice breadcrumb trail in terms of to go about and accessing this information here, which is your student graduation points and then your student exemptions and requirements. So at this time, the College Ready seal and the Honors Diploma seal, okay, are the only two seals that automatically have earned checked when the requirements have been met. Okay, so keep that in mind. A lot of you guys, I know you guys knock out the seals as the school year is coming to an end. So for those of you, I applaud your efforts there because I know that's a lot of tedious work there. Okay. For those of you who are still looking to add seals or whatnot, you guys still have time. Okay. So I just wanted to kind of let you guys be aware of this process in terms of, like I said before, there's no backs against the wall right now with the reported period G period is the fact that you guys still have throughout the summer. Sometimes I've had situations where a student will graduate and you have to go back and add those seals in. So, like I said before, you still have that option and time to do so. Okay. And update that student's information. But here, like I said before, they're just kind of giving you a heads up in terms of what two seals have already been met. If you want to add some more, okay, you do have the opportunity to do as such. Okay. The as long as the earn and plans to earn seals remains checked for students, they will be reported for the current and each subsequent school year. Okay. So like I said before, if there's any extra seals that needs to be earned, you guys have the option of going ahead and making sure that those seals are marked. Okay. Um, Plans to earn is checked. Once the plan to earn checkbox has been selected for any of the graduation seals, underneath the state system of diploma seals located at the above breadcrumb trail, which is the one they listed here above. Okay. The plans to earn membership code associated with the selected option will automatically be included in the transfer student program, which is the GQ selection. Okay. So the plans to earn graduation seal program codes are not required to be reported during period G. We all know that, but it is nice to kind of get ahead and kind of get, all your information in ahead of time, which a lot of you guys I know have already done. So like I said before, I'm just kind of giving you a heads up. Okay. Once the earn checkbox has been selected for any of the graduation seals underneath the state system of diploma seals located at the above. Okay, I already read that, so sorry. Both plans to earn and earn is checked. So when both of the plans to earn and earned are checked at the same graduation seal, only the earned will be reported. I believe that is very critical to know. Just to make sure you highlight that there. For the college ready seal, honors diploma seal, and industry recognized credential seal that don't have an earned code, plans to earn will be reported unless the student has earned the seal. So if they've earned, then no code is reported. Okay. Do has advised that the earned seal of Biliteracy program code should be reported the year it is earned and all years after while the student is enrolled. So the copy membership functionality described below can copy up the membership code for any student in the prior year with the membership code. And of course, they follow with the 60 and 4X's. Now, down below here are all the codes here that they're showing here along with the program codes. Okay, so this is a list that Do is going to be looking for as it pertains to the actual seals. Okay. Do you guys have a list of this? I'm pretty sure you guys do, but this is just another refresher and reminder for the graduation seals, which are listed here. Plans to earn program code here, and then the earn program code here. Okay. So all that information is located here, just in case you guys don't have to go through the EMIS manual or just go through that big, huge piece of information. Here's a shortcut for you here. And here are the stated student exemptions and requirements. So basically, like I said before, here's a list of all the seals for which a student can attain. And it'll just let you know in terms of the memberships and what all you have to do in terms of marking the appropriate seal. Okay. One column here is your plans to earn. And then here's your earn column here. Okay. So plan to earn program codes are located. So you pretty much are just matching up each column as you go. Plans to earn program code, plans to earn, and then your earn program code, and then your earn column here. So whatever they have achieved, you'll make sure that that appropriate box is checked, okay, before you move on. And then you can go ahead and once you're done, you can update those exemptions there. Have you guys have any questions with these seals here, or are you guys pretty much on top of everything in the room? I'm pretty much they are.
We have a question.
Yeah, go ahead.
Do we not have, don't we have to put the membership code in for some of these seals?
Yes,
Am
I
I
would advise.
remembering that right?
Yes, I would definitely highly advise that you guys put those codes in. Just that's a cover for you and what I mean, and the district just to make sure that they have appropriate, codes for the plans to earn or the earn section.
Do they do that?
A lot of them are automatically put in.
Yeah,
Like
based on what's
OBE.
checked.
Yeah. Like I'm looking at my Ad-Hoc seal thing,
Yeah,
and yeah, they're put in there, like with the citizenship seal, the science seal, ODE puts those in. But there are some you have to do.
I was
Well, and I
thinking-
know the seal of biliteracy, that one's specific because that's the 60 code, but then you have to pick the specific language. And then also on the student exemption page, you have to put what language the student is proficient in.
that must be.
So that one's like a 3-parter.
Yes.
But will it show on their membership page?
You have to put it on the membership page.
Yeah,
No,
it's
I
just
mean,
showing the
ones
membership
that
page.
automatic,
No, I'm good. I'm sorry. I mean to
No,
interrupt.
they
Go ahead.
don't.
they don't. Okay.
Automatic ones don't.
You just see them when you submit the graduation and you look at the program codes in the data you submitted. they'll show up in that.
Okay,
Okay. So you're not physically adding a membership in Dazzle. Once you're checking it off that they met the citizenship seal, ODE is taking care of that when you submit. Okay.
It's not even in that product. In the branch code.
Okay. Okay. Everybody good with that? And I know Tracy, this doesn't affect you, but everybody good?
okay.
So just
It's
review,
added to
guys,
the
for you guys in the room.
Hold on 1 second. We have a comment in the room.
Okay.
I think there is a program code for the military one. That you manually add.
Yeah, see, I thought there was some membership codes that you had to manually enter for specific, you know what I mean, for specific ones. Not like the main ones, but for certain, you know what I mean, for certain ones.
For your apprenticeship certificate.
So we're thinking military and pre-apprentice,
Certificate.
the certificates. Yeah.
From their exemption checks.
Are we good?
Yeah, we're good. I just, because was that Brenda that asked that?
Okay, we're good in
Yeah.
the room.
Okay. And down below, they do mention the proficient foreign languages underneath the EMIS graduation elements on the student exemptions requirement screen. This selection places the appropriate language for the seal of biliteracy to be on the student's transcript. So down below, they have here underneath the EMIS graduation elements, you will see the proficient foreign language there, which is highlighted, okay? And they'll have that language there in terms of words, just letting you know that the districts need to select the proficient foreign languages, okay? So here they have an example, and then it has Danish here, just as the language that was selected, okay? And that would be under the EMIS graduation elements, okay? So when you copy the membership functionality, this allows the selected student membership assignments to be copied from the previous year to the current year. This will not copy memberships from one building to another if student changes buildings this year, okay? If the membership code has already been added to the student's memberships for the current year, the student will not appear on the list of students available to copy up for that membership. Okay. So just a couple of points or whatnot they want to emphasize when copying the membership here. Okay. So an example, and this is works for any membership group, okay, to copy all of the 6.0 membership codes from the prior year to the current year, and the search criteria membership group, and this is here, they're kind of giving you a description here. So you want to go to your management ad hoc updates and then your student membership copy, okay. And the search criteria membership group, you want to move the 60, then this is the seal of biliteracy option to the right dual select box, okay, which would be the membership group up top here. Then click search, and this will bring you to the the select student memberships and provide a list with each student from the prior year who had a 6.0 membership code. And then you can just use this or whatnot you want to the membership codes to move forward with, okay? So this is just basically kind of giving you a heads up in terms of how to copy your membership codes. A lot of you guys are pretty much familiar with this process here, but like I said before, here's just more of a visual for you guys to kind of, use as a reference here, okay? Has anybody been having any issues copying, or you guys pretty much just kind of already know this and just saying, we know, Tim, what you're talking about? Anybody in the room, Shelley? We good?
No, we're good. My only concern, and this isn't with graduation, but remember, same goal stopped our membership codes because it was causing the issues, because it was going into the next school year, so they stopped June 30th. So I need to check, to make sure that we can copy those for next year, or, how that's gonna work, so. I'll work on that at some point in time this summer, unless somebody already looked at it, but that is on my radar.
All right. So down below, they're just kind of listing here the following membership codes were added to the membership copy in version 24.1. These are all the new membership codes here. So you guys can just snapshot this. You guys have probably pretty much a handout or whatnot. Make sure that you guys kind of get these new membership codes down because like I said, this is just more of the updated version here for the memberships. If you guys have any questions, just let us know. But like I said before, ODE is always updating membership codes here. Okay. So just kind of giving you a heads up with that there. Okay. And down below, they kind of give a breakdown of all the graduation alternative competency program codes. Okay. So these are all reportable in all the S collections and period G collections. And down below is a description here of these actual codes. Okay. So you have your college credit plus requirements that are met. They're kind of giving you a description here. Alternative competency college credit plus. So a lot of these seem like they are the CCPs. Okay. You got some military that are kind of included in here as well. Okay. And like I said before, they're kind of giving a description of the list that was just updated. Okay. So like I said before, this is a good list to kind of have in your back Rolodex just in case if you guys get stumped with a membership code and just saying, hey, I'm not sure exactly, what's going on with this or how you would achieve that or whatnot. It gives you a description here. Okay. So these are all the membership codes and their descriptions. Task 7, updating your graduation date and diploma type. Okay. So basically you would use your your FN tab in Dazzle, okay, under student profile. Okay. Graduation date and diploma type fields may be updated during the school year, so the information will be available for final transcripts. The actual graduation date and diploma type will not be reported until period G data is submitted. Okay. So for grad-only students, these are students who are not enrolled in your district, but graduate by completing their graduation requirements at your district or, excuse me, are grad-only students. They should be entered as a grad-only student following the steps in the registering grad-only students documentation. So all this information here in terms of your grads only students is just kind of letting you know in terms of how to basically update their information, right? So for grad only students with graduation date prior to the current school year, for the current school year, districts will be able to add grad only records for students with prior year graduation dates. These students with a student annual record in the current school year will then be included in the FN transfer file during period G. Okay, so that's just another important reminder there. For on-time graduating students, use the bulk updates available to update diploma date and diploma type. The best practice would indicate that this option should be applied no more than 10 days prior to the end of the school year. A lot of you guys have pretty much kind of did these updates there. Okay. Your updating diploma date. Student diploma dates may be updated individually by students on the EMIS graduation elements, and this is your student exemptions requirements tab, or using bulk updates. Okay. So basically, this is kind of giving you a general synopsis on how to basically update your diploma dates as well as updating the graduation types. Okay. Excuse me, upgrading the graduation dates and the types, diploma types, right? So a lot of you guys are pretty much familiar. This is just kind of giving you a quick review. Okay. A lot of you guys pretty much kind of have your information set in stone there. But just as, like I said before, this is pretty much a review here. Here down below, you have listed the breadcrumb trail here on how to access your graduation points and student exemption and requirements. Okay. This is just giving you a walkthrough here for those who get stumped or whatnot during this process. Here's a good refresher for you. Bulk updating student graduation date, and here below they give you the breadcrumb trail there. A lot of you guys use this very, very fluently, so that like I said, any way you guys can cut corners, I get it. Okay. So this is just giving you a breadcrumb trail on how to navigate to update the graduation dates. Okay. And this is just a step-by-step process there. A lot of you guys have pretty much kind of already did this step here, but just kind of giving you a review. Is there any questions in the room, Shelly, at all? Is everyone pretty much kind of done with this here?
Yeah, we're good.
Yes. And down below, this is just more steps. Okay. Like I said, a lot of them have pretty much already completed this here. And here it's just kind of giving you an update in terms of what to look out for in terms of with the file. But a lot of you guys are pretty much aware of this here. Okay. So like I said before, and this is just a disclaimer, students who are just included on output file who aren't going to graduate will need to have the graduation date and diploma type manually removed from the EMIS graduation elements section. And this is found under the student exemptions requirement screen. A lot of you guys are familiar with that, but I just figure I'll just let you know because sometimes there could be a couple of slip ups here and there, and I understand it gets busy. So just want to make sure that you verify on the list there before you go ahead and make your actual adjustments to your graduating class. Bulk data and diploma type. And this here is just kind of giving you some more steps here on how to update your diploma type. Again, a lot of you guys are pretty much familiar with this step here, but it's just kind of giving you more of a review. Okay. For those in the room, I'm pretty much assuming, Shelly, they pretty much done completed this here. So I can, if you guys have any questions, I can go over it. But if you guys have completed it, this is just a review. No need to kind of go over it, Shelly, if they pretty much kind of already got everything situated.
I think we're good.
Yeah, okay, great. I'm gonna skip to task 8 here. Task 8, and this is just setting up your ad hoc groups for student graduate fields. The FN graduate elements are updated on the student exemption requirement screen under the EMIS graduation elements section. Okay. So the selected values are grayed out, but still displayed on the FN graduate tab of the student profile. If a student has met any of the requirements for the core elements under the EMIS graduation elements, it is necessary for the value to be changed to Y. This can be accomplished quickly by using the mass update process. A lot of you guys are familiar with this process there, but they're just kind of throwing it out there just so you guys will know what's going on. Down below, they list some elements here that are not specific to the school year. Once these are changed, the change is reflected in all years. Okay, so to complete these updates, you will need to create an ad hoc group for each of the following fields to update the values using the student profile bulk update. And here below, you have your core economics and financial literacy, core fine arts, core graduation requirement exemption. Okay, then you're exempted from physical education graduation requirement. So the default settings for each values listed above are in with the exception of core graduation requirement exemption, which is the asterisk there. Okay. This screenshot displays, and down below, they're just kind of giving you a heads up on what this screen will look like. I'm not going to read all this because it kind of sounds like an encyclopedia after a while. A lot of you guys are familiar with this setup here. Down below on this section in the FN graduate tab, this is what you will see. As you can see, you got below, the student is a non-attending graduate, right? You got that section. And then you have down below the maintenance of the following graduation elements. Okay, so down below, like I said before, you'll see the graduation date. If you do have that entered, your diploma type, all the core economics, fine arts, graduation, exempted from phys ed, which is what we just went over. And then you got your military compact graduation alternative. So basically, this is just a snapshot of the FN graduate screen. Okay. Like I said before, if there's any adjustments that you need to make, you guys are pretty much familiar with how to work that. But this screenshot just displays where users can enter the graduation data for students. That's all that is. Be sure to click the green update exemptions button, okay, to basically make sure that all your updates are finalized, okay? A lot of times we can get busy. Sometimes we can forget to update. So it's just like I said before, just make sure that all the data that you enter is pretty much updated or whatnot before you move on. Okay. And like I said, a lot of you guys have pretty much completed this process here. Okay. Down below, and like I mentioned before, you just want to make sure that it has your updated exemptions green box there. Make sure you click on that to make sure everything is updated. It will let you know when it's last modified. Okay, so whenever you guys go in and make those changes, make sure you check the date to make sure it is up to date. Okay. Down below to create an ad hoc membership. Okay. And this is just kind of giving you a breadcrumb trail on how to go ahead and navigate through that and the steps here. A lot of you guys are pretty much familiar with this. Now, I know with the updates, there has been some issues with ad hoc, like in terms of how to in terms of doing the update. Has anybody in the room been having any issues with that? I've had a couple districts that have. Anybody in the room, Shelly, that's been having any issues with this?
No, I don't, nobody.
Anybody? Okay. Okay, I just was throwing it out there because I know some districts did. And like I said before, this is just a walkthrough in terms of how to basically create an ad hoc membership here. Everybody in the room seems to kind of have that down. But if you kind of get stumped here, here's a review for you to have or a snapshot for you to have here. Okay. Down below, they do give an ad hoc in terms of what the screen would look like, which a lot of you guys are familiar with. Okay. If you have any questions, let us know. But for the most part, this is just a visual of what this screen would look like here for you guys. Okay. Task 9, running the student profile bulk update to update EMIS graduation options. Okay. So basically, once the ad hoc memberships have been created for the core requirement fields listed in task 8, you are then ready to process your student profile bulk update to update each of these fields. You can do each one as you are ready, but you do not have to wait until you have all your ad hoc memberships completed. Okay. So down below, they give you the steps in terms of how to go ahead and go about doing your student profile bulk updates, which a lot of you guys are pretty much already completed there. And like I said before, these are steps that you guys are pretty much kind of memorized by this point. Okay. Student profile bulk update for EMIS graduation elements. And down below, they just kind of give you here the screen in which to go about, which you would go into your ad hoc updates here, then your student profile bulk updates. You would select your FN graduate there. And then, like I said before, you would just go and here's all your categories, which are listed, which we went over before. Okay. And like I said before, this is a nice task to have if you just don't feel like going through all that and just want to cut corners. Here's the information on how to do such here. Now, with the updates, I'm going to ask one more time. Has anybody been having issues with this bulk update in particular? I had a bulk update done for a district and it kind of, they put the information in wrong. It kind of just, it was just mass hysteria. So that's the only reason why I'm asking, guys.
Everybody's shaking their head no.
No? Okay, great. The second set of tasks can be completed after the first set of tasks is complete. Okay. So task 10, running a graduate course summary, verify and update. I always advise for people to make sure that you run this at least once or twice, especially in the summer, at least once a week or whatnot, just to make sure that everything's up to date. Because in the summertime, a lot of times there are some moving parts that a lot of times as EMIS coordinators, we kind of get lost in the sauce with, right? So we want to just kind of make sure with running the course summaries that we make sure that we at least run it from time to time just to make sure if there's anything that may have slipped, or slipped through the cracks, you guys can be aware. And when you run into updates, you can kind of see what's going on. Okay. So with the updates here, keep in mind, if you guys know, it will only look at students with the diploma date between the first day of school and then the day before the first day of school for the upcoming year. Okay. So when you're running it in verified mode, you just want to make sure that no courses or manual course history records have been missed. Okay. To keep in mind that this process creates an interactive list of courses or course history records that do not have a course subject area specified. Okay. So when you process the course verify, only the course records will be included in the verification. When processed for student verified, manually entered course history records will be verified. So, like I said before, in general and in summary, when you're running this summary verified, just make sure, like I said before, that all your information is correct. Sometimes, like I said, during the summer, it's so much stuff going on. Like I said before, it's just good to kind of keep up to date on what's going on when you're doing your verification there. Okay. Keep in mind, for those in the room and those in the chat, or excuse me, those on Zoom, if college credit was earned for dual credit courses, the amount of dual credit by course subject area is also included. That is very important. Calculating the credits earned for core will be based on the courses the student took where high school credit was earned that counts towards graduation. Okay. If the student earned credit towards graduation from another entity and the school district accepts it as credit towards their graduation requirements, it needs to be used in the calculation of credits for core. Okay. So this could include courses taken from the following entities. They give these entities listed below. So you have the courses taken at the district that will reward diploma, courses taken at your JVSs, post-secondary, courses taken in another school district, correspondent courses, and then any courses taken in Ohio Technical Centers. Okay. Records of these types of courses will have been created manually on on the course history module. So courses taken in middle school where a student earned credit towards graduation would also count. So like I said, you guys are well aware of this. Just make sure that you run it at least once a week, sometimes twice if you guys don't feel comfortable, just the one time, just to make sure that everything is set up and in place for your district. Okay. Not too shabby there to kind of pretty much do, but you guys are pretty much aware. You go to your EMIS section in progress book there, click on your period reporting G, and then you just want to click on your graduate course summary, and then you just verify and update. Okay. Once you do that there, you'll go ahead and get a list of what is basically all in your progress book for the current year. So like I said before, it's pretty straightforward. If you guys have any questions in the room or in Zoom, let me know. But this is a pretty much process you guys are very much familiar with here. Task 11, and this is creating your graduate course summary records. This is a matter of just going, like I said, and staying in the EMIS section, your period reporting G, and just clicking on verify there. Okay. Updating your transfer period G. Okay. And then selecting updating, you will receive a message that the graduate course summary update job has been submitted. So here down below, they kind of give you a step-by-step and blow-by-blow of this. So when you get into your period G under EMIS, you want to verify and update the EMIS period G. From there, you have your buildings within your district, okay? So of course, we're going to be selecting your high school, okay? You want to update there, hit submit, okay? And there you should go ahead and have everything updated there for your graduate course summary. If task 3, update student college credit values for dual credit courses is not completed, the dual credit values will not appear on the graduate course summary output. So just kind of keep that in mind, okay, when you're completing these tasks. Making corrections to the student graduate course summary records. Now, I don't know how comfortable you guys feel or whatnot in terms of the corrections or whatnot, but sometimes what'll happen is if you guys need to make your edits and everything, I understand. Okay. What Frontline is mentioning here is that they do not recommend making updates to the actual student graduate course summary maintenance screen because if the process is rerun, all of the manual entries will be overwritten. Okay, so just kind of keep that in mind. Okay, so once you're basically kind of done with the process or whatnot, if you do rerun it or whatnot, or if you do make those changes, it will kind of wipe out everything previously done. So you just want to make sure, like I said before, when you are making those corrections, just make sure that, everything is pretty much set in stone because that can just lead to a big headache. And I don't, want that for you guys there. Okay. Has anyone had to make corrections to their course summaries there, or pretty much it was just a matter of just updating everything for you guys? Just asking. Anybody in there?
No.
No? Okay. So it's a suggestion. Okay, just a suggestion here. We recommend updating the records by adding a manual course history for records earned over the summer in the 24-25 school year. And then additionally, if any college credit that needs to be included should be updated in the college credit management screen, which is the screen we mentioned before. Okay. So like I said before, if you guys basically need to do anything in terms of updating everything there, they're just basically just kind of giving you some tips and some reminders on how to go about doing that process. Okay. A lot of you guys are familiar, but just kind of just doing a refresher here for you. Keep in mind, all summer school manual course history should be entered in 24-25. Okay. So there will be some people that will try to do it in the following year. Just make sure you stay in the graduation year, which is FY25. Here below, they're giving you a snapshot here of their graduate reporting period G and then the student graduate course summary maintenance screen. Okay. And this here is just going through and just making sure that all your core accounts are basically set up. And then your dual credits is set up if there is such a thing for dual credits. Okay. Of course, you have your pencil there where you can go in and edit those classes. Okay. So like I said before, this is kind of giving you a visual on basically on how to update and change, or if you need to make changes to the core accounts or dual credits, you can do so. And these actual area codes here, okay? So when you're running your graduate demographic attributes verify, student verification should be processed at the district level. A lot of you guys are aware of that. With the district in context, the user has the choice of selecting which building he wishes to perform the verification process for. Okay, so a lot of you guys are aware and selecting the building and then making sure that you're verifying the information there. Okay. This here, of course, when you're running this information, you want to make sure, like I said before, your district is at the district level when reporting and not the building. Okay. Correcting your verification errors. Of course, if you guys have any errors or whatnot, you guys can go in and make sure that you make those corrections there. Down below, they do give you a snapshot of what to see when you're seeing those verification errors. Okay. So you guys can click on the student there and go in, and it does give you the error in which to look at. Okay. So that's very important. It's kind of a shortcut, but it's useful to EMIS coordinators and I understand. Okay. Down below here is just basically kind of giving you some steps on how to correct the student, which a lot of you guys are pretty much familiar with. Verifying that all reportable assessment records are on file for graduates. Okay. The following assessments will be reported during the period G for graduates. So you have your ACT, you guys are well aware of that, SAT, your international, your IBs, advanced placement, your AP, industry credential assessments, and of course, work keys, high school alternative assessments, and then your CTE information. Okay. So a lot of you guys are aware your ACT, SAT, IB, and AP, those can also be reported during the period, excuse me, during the period A window. Okay. And also they'll be reported for the G reporting window. Okay. So basically you got two windows to kind of get information in terms of your assessments there, whether it be your ACT or SAT. Okay. Your graduate period reporting G is just for mainly your graduates, but you want to make sure for your period A, and this is off subject for the period G reporting period, but in period A, you also be reporting this information there as well. So I just wanted to emphasize that to make sure that you guys are aware. Okay. So just make sure that those scores are updated because, like I said before, it is going into two collections. Keep in mind that your industry credit credential assessments should be reported for all students who took an assessment, regardless of whether they passed. All past and current GW assessments are now reported with a score of P or N. So just keep that in mind as they made that adjustment there. Withdrawal summer grads. And this is task 15. Students who have met their graduation requirements between the last day of school and FY25 and prior to the first day of school for the next year should be reported during period G as summer graduates. So students who have passed all tests do not finish coursework prior to the end of school year in 24-25, but complete coursework and receive a diploma prior to June 30th, 2024. This kind of gives you the steps in which to how to withdraw your summer grads. Okay. So of course you withdraw the student with a 99 on the last day of school. Make sure that they are reported during the FY25 final window. Your power withdrawal can be used to complete this withdrawal by using the student ID option, and the student's courses won't be dropped. So down below, like I said before, a lot of you guys are familiar with this process, but this is kind of giving you a walkthrough on how to go about for your summer withdrawals, okay? Students who have passed all tests do not finish coursework prior to June 30th, but complete coursework and receives diploma prior to the first day of school in 25-26. This gives you the walkthrough here. Now, for people in the room, Shelly, has everybody pretty much completed their summer withdrawals for their graduates? Because we're coming up on June 30th as we speak.
Working on that.
Also, they're still working on that.
Are you still working on that? Or kind of, sort of? We're good. Most of them are good. Tim, hold on 1 second. I'm gonna turn the microphone and back off because you're starting to get choppy.
Okay.
So,
Okay, you should be good.
Voice sound better? It does sound better, Shelly.
Yes,
I
it
didn't want
does.
to sound like older. Okay. Okay. So here, like I said before, this is just kind of giving you a rundown of how to go about and doing your withdrawals for students or whatnot for summer withdrawals, grads. Okay. Pretty useful information. A lot of you guys are still working on it, but if you guys, like I said, get stumped, these are the steps in which you would follow here. Okay. So a lot of you guys are familiar with this here. Okay. For students who have finished their coursework prior to the end of 24-25, but did not pass all required tests, this is the requirements and steps in terms of which you would follow. A lot of you guys are familiar with this here. There has been no changes or updates to these steps here and how to update these students. Okay. Like I said, this is just a good reference to have and use just in case, like I said before, you may have a brain freeze or whatever the case may be. These are a good reference tools to use. Okay. So this is just kind of giving you steps here. Task 16, register grad-only students in 24-25 using the registration wizard. A lot of you guys are pretty much familiar that when you're registering these students as grad-only, okay, it's going to be reported as an FN graduate record. So when you're going into the wizard, it just has to be modified to register students who are grad-only similar to regularly registered students. A reduced subset of elements is collected during the registration process for these students to satisfy EMIS reporting requirements, okay? So if a student should have graduated in a prior year, but did not take or pass the test requirements and withdrawn with a 7x withdrawal reason, and now meets the graduation requirements, the student should be registered as a grad-only student. A lot of you guys are familiar with this here, but it's just kind of giving you a heads up, okay? So basically, this is good to use, like I said before, if you guys are having any issues or questions on how to register grad-only students, this is pretty much a standard walkthrough on how to make sure you can make that possible here. Okay. If you guys are having any questions, just let us know, but this is pretty straightforward. Okay. Um, I do have, a couple tickets from last year or whatnot where this was an issue. So having these steps in terms of how to register these grad-only students is pretty helpful. Okay. So like I said before, it's nothing different than what you guys don't already know. Okay. But like I said, here's the steps here. For grad-only students with graduation dates prior to the current school year, okay, they're just letting you know districts can add grad-only records for students with prior year graduation dates out of the date range. These students with a student annual record in the current school year will be included in the FN transfer file during period G. So these students must also have the student is not attending graduate checkbox selected on the edit student profile screen and also the FN graduate tab. Okay. A lot of you guys, like I said before, are very familiar with this, but this is just a heads up for those who, who may have a brain freeze from time to time. Task 17, add in student withdrawal override records. This is the FC records here, okay? A lot of you guys are pretty much familiar with this, but down below, and this is just key to point out, these are the following withdrawal codes that are only accepted, okay? You have your 40, 42, 43, 45, 46, 51, 52, and 81. Okay. These are ones that are only accepted here if you're doing the whole withdrawal override records. Okay. So for student withdrawal override records, they will be continue to be reported with the SSIDs appearing on the missing student override report, where an override is warranted. Once reported, the FC record should continue to be reported for the remainder of the S collections for the fiscal year. So like I said before, a lot of you guys are pretty much aware, but when you are reporting those FC overrides, these are only withdrawal codes they're going by. Okay. If a student withdrew from the school prior to the last day of the prior school year and was not reported as withdrawn in the prior school year as a summer withdrawal, the SSID would be reported for this record. So the SSIDs entered into this record are not checked against prior year data. Okay, so just keep that in mind. Okay. Any questions to the overrides? Anyone in the room have any issues with this, Shelly, at all before I move on?
I have crickets in the room.
All right. And if you want to basically kind of refer back, they do list section 2.17 in the EMIS manual if you need more information regarding the student missing override records, okay? And here in the EMIS section here, you can basically access this information here. I'm gonna kind of enlarge it here with the going into the EMIS maintenance screen and then doing the student withdrawal overrides, okay? Clicking on your reporting period, which is G, of course. Okay, then the withdrawal date, withdrawal reason, and then you have your student SSID here. Okay. So for run and review district EMIS run request, okay, you just want to make sure that each of the period G processes have been run in verified mode for each building where applicable. Make sure all updating processes have been run in update mode at least one time for the district. Make sure all necessary transfers were performed after the update processes were run. If updates were reran, also make sure that transfers were rerun as well. And then you just want to make sure that no process was run too early. Okay. So basically just kind of giving you a personal checklist to follow just to make sure that everything is put in place for you guys. Okay. Here down below, of course, you guys are well aware. If you click into EMIS there and then verify your EMIS run request, you can go to reporting period, or excuse me, which is G. Select the buildings in which you want to go ahead and run your request. And then down below, you'll see basically where I have, you're not run. Of course, you'll see all your information here. And then basically, like I said before, it's just a checklist. If you guys have ran all this stuff here, which I'm pretty sure you guys have, then you guys are pretty much in the clear. But it's just kind of just giving you just a heads up. And then task 19 is just basically transferring all your information here into the data collector. Okay, so a lot of you guys are pretty much familiar with this step here, which is selecting all your transfers and then flat file transferring for the data collector for processing. Okay, so like I said before, it's pretty much standard. A lot of you guys are familiar with these steps here. But like I said before, if you have any issues, just let us know. And that comes to the end of this reporting period G